Welcome to the MCDFNL Footy Show, Finals Edition number 2, back for another huge week of action after a fantastic first week of the MCDFNL Final Series in both football and netball. Sean Kelly's my name. With me this week, the Operations Manager of the MCDFNL, Scott Carey. Scotty, welcome, mate.
Thanks, Sean. Good to be back again, mate.
It is indeed, and conspicuous in the absence of one Esk Hours this week.
Yeah, it's probably a long time coming. I think the viewers have wanted to see just the duo, you and me.
Yep, agreed.
Finally come during the finals. Not a good time to be out during finals time.
No, that's right.
Might not find his spot back on the desk here in the next couple of weeks.
Although we do have a certain cross-section of our viewership that does love watching Sammy every week, so we thought we'd give them some Sammy. We took the camera out to the Natty versus Talbot Reserves game on the weekend, and we'll start with the disclaimer. A very good game by Natty's Reserves. They got up. Sammy played in the game, of course. He's playing finals, we're not, so we'll give him that one. Right. Give you that one, Sammy, because you're about to get a little bit back because, as you can see, Scotty, talk us through some of what we're seeing on the screen at the moment. Sam Gow is at, well, his finest, I suppose?
Yeah, probably say finest, seeing as though he didn't get many kicks, so I suppose you call it his finest for the weekend, Shawnee. A bit of finger pointing early, wasn't getting much of it, thought he'd try and direct traffic. That meant not picking up a man most of the day.
Yep. And telling everybody else to pick up his man.
Yeah, and you'd see a lot of Talbot blokes running past and, a little glance and, I didn't see him run past, I looked the other way. And then he kind of gets near the ball a bit later on and decides to try and rip a headband off a Talbot bloke's head.
Yeah, not great. Not a great tackle.
He disputes that free kick, but I think pretty certain that's a free kick.
100% certain.
And then the big one. A bit of a little scuffle.
Skirmish.
A little skirmish. Yeah, skirmish is not a bad word for it, Shawnee. Sammy thought he'd just hang out a little. He's kind of in that position where he goes, it looks like I'm getting involved, but I'm not. It's the
hero position. He's there ready to throw the chest out if needs be and strut in.
That's right. And then he sees that, the umpire's going to get the game going. I'm a chance for an actual kick.
Yes.
And still didn't get one, mate. So he didn't get involved in fight.
A couple of nice tackles, though, I must admit that, but still, no leather touching hand.
No, he helped the bloke up afterwards as well. I don't know about either. So.
He tried to push a bloke's head into the ground as well.
I don't think he got many touches at all.
2 kicks, 3 handballs, he told me after the game.
Wow.
Is that enough to keep your spot in the final?
Wouldn't have thought, to be honest.
Yeah. Grant Condon, one of his teammates, did some beautiful work off the bench, showing his yellow boots around and just flashing some sort of skill. So you never know, he might plant Sammy on the bench this week. But of course, Natty playing this week, which we'll talk about later on.
Absolutely.
But good to see some of Sammy on the footy show this week.
Yeah, we couldn't leave him off, could we?
Could not do that at all. But let's talk footy, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk last week's results. We'll start with the first qualifying final between Carisbrook and Lexington. And wowee, we did not see the magnitude of this one coming. Carisbrook's undefeated streak continues. 23-12, 150, demolishing Lexington 2-6-18. Not trying to talk Lexington down, but demolishing is about the only word we can use there. Matthew Bilton, 9 goals in a virtuoso performance on the weekend. Nathan Wright kicked 5, Tom Wright kicked 4, Luke Tracy 2, and Jackson Bowen 2 were the multiples for Carisbrook. Just the 2 goals on the day for Lexington, Lockie Pryor and Daniel Chester. Best players for Carisbrook, Bilton, Emmett, Kick, Nick Wright, Gray and Patrick Jeans. And for Lexington, their better players, Mick Jennings, Dan Chester, Pryor, Hind and Ferguson. You could tell the day was going to start badly for Lexington, Scotty, when Damon Aspelin, probably their best player, had to pull out in the warm-up, and unfortunately it all went downhill from there.
Yeah, it was probably going to be a tough task to start with, Shawnee, coming up against Carisbrook undefeated. You have injuries in the warm-up, probably a couple during the week or coming out of last week's game, and you're on the back foot early, and look, I don't think anyone expected this big a win. I think everyone expected Carisbrook to get over the line, but that's amazing. That's a massive win in the first qualifying final.
And it's as much of a statement as any undefeated side's going to send going into a final series. It's like, yes, we've gone through undefeated, but now try and catch us, is basically what Carisbrook said.
Yeah, you'd think if there was a week that could be the first week, that the nerves might get the better of them, but there's no nerves there, and they're straight into a prelim final in a couple of weeks' time.
They are indeed. The other qualifying final, a much closer affair and a fantastic game out at Hedges Oval on Saturday afternoon. Newstead taking on Navarre. A fantastic win by Newstead, 14-12-96, defeating Navarre 10-12-72. Navarre led the game by 2 goals at quarter time, but Newstead pegged them back, trailed by a point at half time, led by a point at 3/4 time, and then put them to the sword with 5-1 in the final quarter. Mark Ramsey booted 3 for Newstead. Ethan Ford, Daniel Christmas, David Wall, Nathan Webster and Sam Kerr all kicked 2 goals on the weekend. Ash and Cody Driscoll kicked 2 each for Navarre. Chris Brennan kicked 2 as well for the Hoppers. Best players for Newstead: Bott, Ford, Kerr, Park, Colviner and Entwistle. And for Navarre, Folks, Redding, Josh Driscoll, Ash Driscoll, Luke Hendy and Tom Kay. Scotty, you saw a bit of this game on the weekend, mate. Talk us through it. A ripper from all reports.
This was a fantastic game of footy. You couldn't ask for a better qualifying final, to be honest. On early, Navarre got the jump, which we kind of said at the start of the week. Whoever gets probably the jump in the first quarter is going to go a long way to winning the game. Newstead fought back, hit the front. They did the same in the third quarter. A bit of to and fro, and they got up a couple of goals each. Pegged them back. And I think just a couple of injuries with Parko going out early in the first quarter, and I think there was another one during the game. Might have been a Hannett. Probably caught up with them a bit towards the end of the game. But full credit to Newstead. We probably thought they weren't playing their best footy the last couple of weeks, but. That's a fantastic performance by them, and they'd be wrapped with that heading into the prelim final.
Oh, they would indeed. Great work by Newstead. Where's Navarre at now, mate? Daniel Parkin won't take any part for the rest of the season, unfortunately. Fractured cheekbone, not displaced after an incident on the weekend. He's okay, but he won't be playing. Zane Bigmore apparently has done the shoulder again as well. So, two pretty crucial elements out of the Navarre side as now they go into the hard stuff all the way. They've got a knockout final this week. If they get through that, it's Carisbrook in a preliminary final.
Yeah, no chance now with the double chance, Shawnee. I think it's the end for Navarre. I think they're still a pretty good side. They showed that probably the last month of the home and away season with a couple of injuries as well, and they got through that pretty well. They're not they didn't finish second on the ladder for no reason. So they're a very good side. I'd expect them to bounce back this week, but it's going to be a tough job.
Yeah, it will indeed. Let's have a look at the elimination finals. And the first elimination final between Harcourt and Maldon on the weekend. This one didn't go the way that a lot of people planned, with Maldon getting over the line in an impressive result at Princes Park on Sunday. They trailed at three-quarter time by 9 points, but kicked the final 6 goals of the game to march themselves into a semi-final and knock Harcourt out of the premiership race. Maldon 15-11-101, defeating Harcourt 10-11-71. The Birchall boys, Sean and Wayne, shared 7 goals between them. Matty Kyle kicked 2, as did Jacob Fitzpatrick for Maldon. Matt Geary 4, Jared Trethowan 3 for Harcourt. For Maldon, their better players: Shawnee Birchall, Kane, Wayne Birchall, Kyle Wynne-Stanley, Tim Conway and Ryan Dixon. For Harcourt, their better players: Newton, Douglas, Geary, Chaplin, Felazuski and Alec Purdon. Another one we didn't see coming, mate. I thought this would have been Harcourt, and they would have been rubbing their hands together a little bit the way the draw kind of opened up for them on Saturday. Not going to happen now. Draw can open up as much as you like, but it's no good when you're on Mad Monday.
No, they're going to have to wait till next year now, Shawnee. Very good win by Maldon. Like you said, I don't think anyone expected that. I certainly didn't. They were fantastic all day. There was probably a little bit of a 2, probably maybe 3 goal breeze heading down the rotunda end of Princes Park, which Maldon had in the last quarter. But full credit to them. They kept Harcourt at bay when they had the win. They kicked a couple of goals against it, and Harcourt just didn't do enough damage going with the wind, and Maldon took full advantage of that in the last quarter and kicked away.
It's interesting that you still kind of don't know where Maldon's at. You watch that game, but I know I hark back to the last couple of rounds of the home and away season. They got their mojo back in that round 18 game against Campbell's Creek where they got themselves into the finals. But the week before that, they faced Lexton, who they'll play this week, and they were terrible in that game. They were short on players that week, it's fair to say, but Lexton dominated them. So how much... You've been in this position before. How much, as a Maldon player, do you take into that, knowing that 3 weeks ago you got flogged by these guys, but your confidence is starting to get up a little bit, knowing the wins you've had in the past 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think we mentioned that a couple of weeks ago, Shawnee. It's all about the confidence. And a couple of weeks ago I lost to Lexington, a heavy loss. I don't think it'll have any part to do with their lead up into this weekend's game, because, as you said, it's all, you build on that win, get into the finals with the confidence. It's transpired into their game and win over Harcourt. Look, they'll be riding on it the whole way through this final series.
Yeah, no, very good win by Maldon, getting themselves into the second week of the finals, where they joined Natty Bialaba, who had a strong win over Avoca on Sunday in their elimination final at Hedges Oval. Natty Bialaba 16-5-101, defeating Avoca 10-8-68. The Wiz, Ryan Weir, 6 goals for Natty Bialaba. Alex Banco, Matt Stagg kicked 2 each for the Swans. Murray Bond kicked 4 for Avoca, 3 of those in the first quarter. Nathan Coughlin, 2 goals as well. Best for Natty Bialaba, Weir, Mortlock, Long, Greco, Ross and Miles. And for Avoca, their better players: Bond, Howe, Nankerville, Edwards, Beavis and Sammy Kay. Pretty close game early on. Not much in this game at half time, Scotty, but the third quarter, Natty Bialaba, 5 goals to none against Avoca. After that, just that last quarter was a lull and felt like they were going through the motions.
Yeah, you'll probably have a better take on this game, Shawnee being there, but yeah, it looks like a very tight first half and probably what everyone expected that Natty would get up in the end, and they have comfortably. So a very good win for them, and similar to Malden, they'll be taking full confidence into next week.
Yeah, they will. It just seemed like they had that bit more fitness come that third quarter. The first quarter was very much a finals type quarter. It was a anything you can do, I can do better kind of quarter. Murray Bond at one end was fantastic, and Natty Bialaba sharing the goals amongst themselves early. They barely missed. That helped them out. What was it, 16-5 for the day, 14 goals, 4 to 3-quarter time. Look, they're in form. There's absolutely no doubt about that. They lost to Newstead by a goal going into the last round, but that's their only blemish in the last 4 to 5 weeks. So they'll take on week 2 of the finals with a heck of a lot of confidence, which we'll talk about shortly. Speaking of Natty Bialaba, had a chance to catch up with their coach after the game, Shane Green. Had a bit of a chat about the win, about the game, and about what lies ahead for Natty Bialaba. So let's have a look and have a listen to what Greeny had to say. Welcome back to the MCDFNL Footy Show here with Natty Bialaba coach Shane Green after their elimination final win. Greeny, congratulations, mate.
Look, thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Pretty hard-fought game, especially early on. Avoca threw everything they had at you early on in the game.
Yes, yeah, very much so. And I think, look, any final you go into, obviously the first quarter and getting on top is really important. So if you can get away with a good start, and look, certainly we knew there was going to be some heat early, and look, I think the score was much in quarter time. So,
what did you do differently in the second half to just bust that little bit away from Avoca?
Look, I think it's very much a war of attrition. I think like both quarters went like 25 and 27 minutes, and I just felt that in the second half we may have had a slightly bit more run than they had, and they've got a few bigger bodies than what we had. So that's the thing we spoke about, trying to run and use the ball effectively.
You spoke about having the run. Fitness obviously comes into it. On a day like today where it's 22, 23 degrees, big ground to play on, really needs some tank.
Oh, definitely. Look, I tell you, there was a lot of red faces at half time in our rooms. I'm making a point to our boys and saying we're no different in the Avoca's rooms, the same sort of thing. So, yeah, look, and I think too, like in finals, you've got to take chances when they come. And I think, look, in the third we did, we kicked 6 goals, and that makes a huge difference, reward for it.
Yep. Brian Weir's been in some really good form of late in front of goal. Another 6 goals today. Named as your best player as well. Just one of those players that's got that X factor and can turn it on when you need something.
Oh, look, very much so. I mean, he's got the nickname Wiz for a reason, and that's obviously he knows where the goals are. And look, and players like Ryan, we really need him, obviously, as a head forwards for us. But look, other guys do a lot of work too, and they push up in that crowd space, and he's close to goal. So, but as good as he is, we're a team, and it's all about the team success for us.
And who were your best players in your view today, apart from obviously the Wiz?
Look, I think it's a really good team. I mean, we rotate on the bench, and the message was we need 6 minutes on the ground and really have an impact. And I think look, everybody that went on did a good job, and that's how you win finals.
It's going to be a couple of big weeks too. Obviously, next week you take on Navarre now in a semi-final. Navarre will be hurting after a big loss yesterday as well, so pretty big challenge.
Oh, very much so. Look, we had a big challenge. We played them home and away, and we've got to have that one. But look, definitely, we know that they've been runners up the last 2 years, and obviously they're carrying a lot of hurt, as you said, for the last couple of years, and obviously, this week we get them on the rebound. Yeah, it would be tough, without a doubt. And
of course, the prize, if you beat Navarre, it's a preliminary final with Carisbrook. It just keeps getting better.
Yeah, and it's funny sometimes how history tends to repeat itself. And if we can get there, who knows? So, look, but today it was about Avoca trying to get over them first, and things can end very quickly in finals.
Oh, they can indeed. It's obviously out there having fun. You've got through, you've won a final, you're into the second week, Shane. Congratulations, mate. Best luck next week.
Thanks very much.
Good stuff. Thank you. Shane Green from the Natty Bialaba Football Netball Club. Pretty good interview. He's pretty forthright with what he wants out of this final series for Natty, and came across quite well.
Certainly did, mate. He's got the boys going up in the right time of the year, and he's had some success already during the year, so well done to him, and all the best this weekend.
Before we get into the netball, just wanted to mention the junior presentation night that was held last Monday at Barringhup Community Hall. Fantastic night, 400 people in attendance. Great to see the best players for the season awarded, and some nice work by you on the night as well with the vote calling, mate, for the footy. I know that there's some talk going around that you've displanted Liam Brady, who a lot of people on this show know as the number 1 vote caller in the AFL Goldfields Hub, mate. So congratulations, a solid performance by yourself.
Wouldn't have thought.
Thanks, mate. I think Liam in the background, he's probably the only one that calls himself the number 1 vote caller in AFL Goldfields. So, it was a very good night, mate. Lots of deserving winners and some very good talent to come out of those winners that going to be future stars in the next couple of years.
That's right, and Liam, in fact, he's cracked it. You heard the door just open, then he banged the chair on the way through. He's not at all happy that Scotty's about to usurp him in that number one throne. But let's talk some netball, mate. Let's talk the qualifying finals. Navarre 72 defeating Lexington 33. Another one that we didn't see this kind of result coming. We thought that it would be much, much closer. Jess Parry, fantastic for Navarre, along with Jess Williamson and Sophie Matthews on the weekend. For Lexington, Sarah Fisher, Julia Coates and Kim Tiley, they're better players. Interesting, doesn't appear that Rachel Phelan, the leading goal shooter in the A-grade competition this year, took to the court on the weekend, and it's obviously had a big impact on the game.
Yeah, I think similar to their senior footballers, they might have had some injuries prior to this game, and we thought it'd be a bit closer, and we said it was one that Navarre really wanted to get under their notch on their belt, beating Lexington. So, very convincing win. So that's two massive wins in both the senior football and senior netball.
Yeah, much like Carisbrook in the senior footy, Navarre really making a statement with this game. The other qualifying final, much closer affair. Maldon 21 defeating Natty Bialaba 17. Maldon holding on for grim lifers. Natty came at them in the last quarter. They were 10 down at the final break and got to within 4 goals by the final whistle. Fiona Thiemann, Sarah Lovell and Gabe Fitzpatrick, fantastic for Maldon. Sherelle Martin, Ash Edwards and Naomi Medlin, the better players for Natty Bialaba.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of a battle of defence here, Shawnee. Very low scoring game, and look, I had no idea who would win this game. I think none of us did last week when we were previewing this game. So very good win from Maldon. They'd be very happy down there, but similar to the other sides in the football, it's not all over for Natty.
Correct, they still live on. However, it is all over for Denali because they took on Newstead at Hedges Oval on Sunday. Could not get the job done. Newstead 35 defeating Denali 27. Jasmine Coleman, Dawn McNabb and Amanda Guthrie, the better players for Newstead. For Denali, Ash Lyric, Sophie McQuinn and Brooke Ballinger, they're better players. All over for Denali, and Newstead showed that they can hang and bang with the top teams because these are two teams that probably, given their end-of-season form, showed top 4 form.
Yeah, we said that last week as well, Shawnee. These were the two sides that have been a bit up and down, but at their best, they're very capable of matching it with the top sides. So, good win by Newstead. Slow start from Denali with only 4 goals in the first quarter. It's probably cost them really in the end with that 7-goal buffer. So, yeah, similar to the other sides, and you said take that under their wing and move into next week.
Yeah, they certainly do. The other elimination final, a little bit more one-sided. Carisbrook 42, defeating Harcourt 14, a 16-goal to 3 second quarter, setting up the win for Carisbrook. Sarah Jeans, Sheridan Byrne and Beck Lovett amongst their better players for Harcourt. Denise Bain and Carly Wilkins amongst their better players as well. And Carisbrook very much unhappy that they dropped from the top 4 in the last couple of weeks of the season, and they know that they can go deep into this finals campaign.
Yeah, I think everyone knows that too. They should have been a top 4 side coming in the finals, got done in the last round, so an expected win and a very comfortable win in the end too.
Was indeed. It's time to turn our attention to week 2 of the final, Scotty, and a big weekend coming up. All games at Princess Park from here on in. Hedges Oval served its purpose. Fantastic work by the Royal Park Football Netball Club at putting it on. And I'll tell you what, I was out there on Sunday in Talbot Football Netball Club. The job they did with the canteen, the burgers, $4, best you'll find.
Oh, absolutely, mate. The canteens over the next 3 weeks as well are going to be fantastic. I'll certainly be dropping by.
So will I, and I'm a good judge of a canteen. So the bar's been set, clubs. Told have said it. Let's see you lift it from here on in. So Saturday at Princess Park, the 7th of September. If you haven't voted, do it today rather than having to ruin your football experience on Saturday. Get down and do it today because, of course, it's election day on Saturday, but it's also second semi-final day, which we're more concerned about. Under 12 footy, 9 a.m. start, Campbell's Creek taking on Carisbrook. Under 15s, Navarre taking on Royal Park. Under 17.5, Newstead v Avoca. The reserves, Newstead v Natty Bialaba. I'm going to give you the camera. You're going to get some gals, Cam. See if we can actually see him touching the ball at some stage this week.
Not going to waste our time, Shawnee. Not going to waste the power of the camera. We'll find better things to film, I think.
I like it. Like, for instance, Navarre versus Natty Bialaba. What a game this is going to be, the senior football game. On this weekend, the second semi-final, the winner, a date with Carisbrook in the preliminary final, the loser, bye-bye for season 2013. Your thoughts, Scott Carey?
Yeah, very close one, Shawnee. Natty got it over Navarre earlier in the year and a very good win away from home. So coming off their form on the weekend, they're going to be a very good show. Navarre will be kicking themselves. They let one slip last week against Newstead, and I think just the extra week, get a few guys fit, hopefully a lighter week on the track, get them back. They should be right. I'm not sure tip-wise. I'm probably leaning towards Navarre. I just think their form overall for the whole year has been fantastic, and that should hold them in good stead. But probably only 1 or 2 goals at most, I reckon, Shawnee.
It's going to help you with the tip. Open up the MCDFNL Advocate when you get to the ground this week. Ripping publication once again. Get your copy, $2 as you walk in the gate. Have a look at I think it's page 13, the tipping section this week.
That's right.
One tip to tip Navarre, yourself.
Yep.
You're the only one. Navarre virtually friendless in this game. Daniel Parkin injured. Zane Bigmore injured. Natty Bialaba in form. The general consensus is that Natty go through here, but it's fraught with danger because we know how good Navarre are as a football team.
And I'm not exactly leading the competition, so we'll never know, Shawnee. But, I could make a late charge over the next 3 weeks.
You could indeed. Let's have a look at the netball schedule on Saturday for second semi-final day as well. We kick things off with the 13 and under game between Avoca and Royal Park. Royal Park taking on Carisbrook in the 15 and unders. Talbot taking on Royal Park in the 17 and under. Navarre Carisbrook in C grade. Harcourt Denali B grade. Natty Bialaba v Newstead in A grade. It was only round 18 that these two teams, only 2 goals separated them at the end of the game. This, once again, is anybody's game.
I've got an idea here, Shawnee. You'd think Natty would really want to get one back last week. They let one slip against Malden as well. Again, we come back to the confidence thing when you said that are finally playing some good netball, but then again, they've been inconsistent all year and up and down. So going off that, I'm going to go with Natty.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with Natty as well. Obviously, they're one of the top 4 sides during the home and away season. They've got some stars on the court. When they put it together, they can be as dangerous as any team in the competition. Let's turn our focus to Sunday, the 8th of September, Princes Park, once again in Maryborough for first semi-final day. Under 12 footy, Avoca v Newstead. Avoca v Campbell's Creek in the under 15s. Denali v Malden in the under 17s. It's going to be some sort of game as well. The under 17.5 game. Denali v Malden. Get down early and watch this because you've got Matty Gibbs, who's one of the Rookie of the Year nominees and the runner-up under 17.5 best and fairest for Denali. You've got Justin Laird, who is the leading goal kicker and the best and fairest for the league on Denali's side. On Malden's side, you've got Tommy Horn and Nick Kelly. 2 players that will double up and play the senior game later on in the afternoon. Michael Rorke's kicked a lot of goals as well during the year for Malden. Get there early because this is going to be a great under 17.5 game as well.
But last week, Shawnee, as well, they were easily the 2 best standards of games across the whole weekend, the 2 under 17.5 games. So do yourself a favour, get down and watch them because they're our up-and-coming stars and seniors the next couple of years. But it is quick, exciting football.
It is indeed. The reserves game, Carisbrook versus Harcourt, and of course the senior game, Lexton taking on Malden. The winner a date with Newstead in the preliminary final next week. And we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, Lexton got the chocolates over Malden, but it's a different Malden side that we'll take to the field on Sunday.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to tip Malden this week, Shawnee. During the final series, you need a lot to go right. To get all the way through to the grand final and then ultimately win the premiership. And, it started off on a bad foot with Lexington with a few injuries and a massive pumping from Carisbrook, So, it's all uphill for them now. Malden are on the high. We said their confidence is flowing, so it'll be very close. They do have to make up a big buffer from a couple of weeks ago, like you said, but I'm going to go Malden in a tight one.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Lexington in this one. I just feel that they'll be more prepared to play this week. They came out and the Carisbrook, how do we beat Carisbrook, may have gotten into their heads a little bit. They'll come out, they've beaten Malden before, so they know they can do it. They've had a chance to obviously look at what went wrong last week and regroup from it. I reckon they'll come out full of fire this week and get over the line in a close one. Let's have a look at the netball. 13 and under Trentham v Talbot, 15 and under Avoca v Navarre, 17 and under Carisbrook v Denali, C grade Lexington v Malden, B grade Navarre v Newstead, A grade Lexington versus Carisbrook. This is going to be the game of the round across football and netball. This is 2 teams that you can barely separate, 2 teams that fought like cat and dog all year for 4th and 5th spot on the ladder, and now only one of them can go through to a preliminary final and meet Malden next weekend.
Yeah, this is an awesome game, to be honest, Shawnee. I don't know who to tip, so I'm actually going to tip a draw. We haven't had a draw in the netball yet. We normally have a couple
Can't have
during
draws.
the finals. We can go to extra time.
Draws. We have extra time. We have a winner at the end of the day.
This is my tip, Shawnee.
All right, so you tip the draw. Who wins in extra time then?
Extra time, I'm going to go Lexington.
Very good. I like it. I reckon Carisbrook. I reckon if Lexington do have the injuries that we think they have, that Carisbrook will be too strong for them. They showed some really good form last week, and I reckon they'll get over the line. That'll do us for this week, mate. Big week coming up. Footy Saturday, Footy Sunday, Berry Power Medal Monday. We'll take the camera out there. We might get some box pops from the Berry Power Medal night. Not the Berry Power Medal night. Feature them on next week's Footy show, and looks like it's going to be a pretty good night. We're looking at about 360 people in attendance, packing out the Highland Society, and it should be a ripper.
And Geelong superstar Matty Scarlett, guest speaker, so some interesting questions about Nick Maxwell heading his way, I think.
Dare say.
I'll have a few in the back pocket.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Thank you for joining us once again on the MCDFNL Footy Show. We'll be back next week. Enjoy your finals footy and netball this weekend. We'll see you next Thursday.